Hey guys, today I'm talking about 30 different recipes, and I'm going to try to cram it into like a 10 or 15-minute video, but 30 different recipes from a common kitchen item you probably already have in your kitchen. Almost everybody has this in one brand or another. I'm going to show you exactly how to make it, and I'm going to list all the insects as we go along. If you're not familiar with them, I'll also put photographs of each insect and its type up on the screen. But the product I'm talking about is Dawn dishwashing liquid. And this product right here has so many uses for getting rid of various types of insects, from ants to roaches, every type, bed bugs to stink bugs. So I'll just go through every one of them and show you exactly how to put it together in a super simple recipe for each. Now the first one is just going to be a general pest spray for like something like ants, roaches, and flies, and it just requires you to have 2 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of the dish soap, put it in a sprayer, and you can spray them directly. So it's a direct contact insecticide. It's the most basic of recipes, but I've got 29 more coming that have a few extra added ingredients, but they work even better on those specific bugs. So guys, the next one is more for a specific type of ant invasion. If you have a huge ant invasion where you see a lot of trails going through your kitchen or anywhere else in your house, this is going to involve adding the component of common kitchen white vinegar. You're going to take 2 tablespoons of the Dawn dishwashing soap, 1 tablespoon of the vinegar, and 1 cup of water. Mix it all up in your sprayer, and make sure not only do you spray the ants directly, but spray their trails. The vinegar will help erase the scent trails and make it much harder for the ants to find it back to the area where they were feeding or looking for food in your kitchen or somewhere else in your house. Now, if you're having a problem with fruit flies in your kitchen, it's most likely from fruits or vegetables that you brought in from the garden or the produce section of your grocery store. There were eggs on the outside of them. They've hatched out, and now you have fruit flies in your kitchen. You're going to want to take a small container like this, take 1 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1 tablespoon of the liquid dish soap. Mix it together. The fruit flies will be attracted to the fermentation in this and drawn into the trap. They break the surface tension and will drown in the liquid because the soap allows them to fall through the top of the water. If you don't add the Dawn, then they would just be able to literally walk on the water and fly away, but this allows them to penetrate the surface tension of the water and drown very quickly in our homemade fruit fly trap. So the next one is going to be a flea shampoo for your dog. It's going to involve using 1 tablespoon of the dish soap, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. You can also use fresh lemon. You're going to need 1 quart of water, which is actually 4 cups. Make sure when you put it on your dog, you lather it in well. Keep it away from the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the ear canals. And just make sure you do a thorough rinse. I checked with my vet, and he said, yes, this is perfectly safe. It won't hurt him as long as you do a thorough rinse after you give him his bath. Then the next recipe is a spider deterrent spray, and it can kill spiders if you spray it directly on them, but it involves 2 tablespoons of the dish soap. I'm going to say 1/4 teaspoon or about 10 to 20 drops of peppermint essential oil. Put it in a sprayer and spray around all windows, door entries. If you have any outdoor lights you leave on at nighttime, make sure you spray all of those areas to act as a deterrent. And if you have a problem with spiders coming in, spray it right where the window comes to a close, where you can prevent them from coming in under doors and windows. So the next one is for bed bugs. If you have an infestation around the bed, you want to take 1 tablespoon of the Dawn dishwashing soap, 1 cup of water, mix it in your sprayer, and spray around all cracks and crevices around the bed, underneath the bed, around the bedpost. This may be something you have to do twice a week until you get them under control. If you have carpeted areas, you may want to use something as large as this and upsize the recipe to make sure you give it good coverage so that you'll have plenty of opportunity to kill those bed bugs, because 1 small spray with this is not going to kill a large area. So it may require something like this to get rid of a large area in multiple bedrooms. Now, if you're having house flies in or out or around your house, patio, wherever, you want to take 1 cup of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of the dish soap, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Mix it all in a shallow dish like this and leave it wherever you're seeing flies. If you have pets around, you want to put this up high or cut small holes in this so only the flies can get in it and drown in the trap. Now the next one is going to be for roaches, whether in the kitchen or anywhere else around your house. You're going to put in 2 tablespoons of the Dawn dishwashing soap and 1 tablespoon of either this borax washing powder or boric acid. Put it in a quart of water and spray under things like appliances, stoves, refrigerators, anywhere cracks and crevices, anywhere you're seeing roaches, and this will kill them on contact and also kill the hatching out eggs. You may have to do this once a week until you get them under control, depending on how bad your infestation is. So the next one is for wasp and hornets, and I always recommend that if you are spraying wasp and hornets that you spray at least 10 to 15 feet away from the nest. That's why having a sprayer like this or a highly compressed small sprayer like this where you don't take a chance on them swarming out and attacking you. But you're going to need 1 tablespoon of the dish soap, 1 tablespoon of peppermint, and 2 cups of water. Mix it all together. You can upsize the recipe if you need to put it in something like this and spray it directly, and it will kill the wasp on contact. Now the next one is if you're having a problem with moths, the small tiny moths you see in your pantry or in your clothing, the closet where you keep all your clothing, especially things like wools and cashmeres, you want to use 1 tablespoon of the liquid dish soap. You want 10 to 20 drops of cedarwood oil. I've got a kit that I bought this from and it had 48 different types, so I'll put that in the link in the description. But cedarwood oil is really a key component, and 1 cup of water. Mix it together, put it in your sprayer, spray up high around the pantry ceiling, shelves. You may have to clean out the closet and the pantry to do this. You just want to do an overall spray everywhere and make sure you give it a good coating of these ingredients, and it will repel the moths out of your clothing closet or your food pantry. Now, if you're having a problem with gnats around your house, it's most commonly coming from the soil where the house plants, they're infested in that soil, and that's where it'll start from. But you want to take 2 tablespoons of the Dawn, 1 tablespoon of either fresh lemon juice or concentrate, put it in 1 cup of water and spray the soil area around your plants. That's where the gnats are starting from if you're having that problem in your house. If you don't have house plants, then it may be that you've brought something in that maybe was contaminated and you need to find out what that is. It's very difficult to know unless you do a search of all the things around your house that you've recently brought in, but that's usually where it comes from, is house plants. Now next, if you're having a problem with stink bugs, this is a super simple recipe. You're going to take 1 tablespoon of the Dawn, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1 cup of water, put it in your sprayer, and wherever you're seeing the stink bugs, spray them directly. I have them usually on my screened-in porch, and I just hit them with this formula, knocks them out, and I vacuum up or sweep them up the next day. Now next is for earwigs, and earwigs are most commonly found around bathroom sinks, under sinks, and places like that. You're going to take 2 tablespoons of Dawn, 1 tablespoon of rubbing alcohol, a quart of water, which is 4 cups. Mix it all together and spray all the cracks, crevices, baseboards, under the sinks, anywhere you've been seeing earwigs. Now the next one is for silverfish. You want to take 2 cups of water. You want to take 1 tablespoon of Dawn, and you want to take 1 tablespoon of boric either acid powder or 2 tablespoons of borax washing detergent. It's not quite as concentrated, so you're going to need to double up on your boric acid, but that is a thing for silverfish. You want to spray around any places where you spotted them, baseboards, under cabinets, anywhere like that, and that will knock them out. Now the next is for a beetle spray. You're going to take 1 tablespoon of baking soda. You're going to take 1 tablespoon of the Dawn dishwashing soap and 1 quart of water. Mix it in your sprayer and spray it wherever you're having a problem with beetles. Now the next one is personally my favorite because I hate fire ants. The mounds just pop up throughout my yard. I live in the southeastern part of the United States, and there's always fire ants all summer long, and one of the easiest ways to get rid of them is a fire ant mound drench. You're going to take a 1/4 cup of the Dawn. You're going to put it in a gallon-sized container, fill it up with water, and do a massive drench. You're just going to turn it upside down right in the center of the mound and pour the entire container in there and make sure that it empties well. Mix it slightly before you pour it to make sure it gets all the way to the bottom of the mound. Now the next recipe is for caterpillars, and specifically in the summer, my tomatoes are always attacked by caterpillars all summer long. So one of the things I do is I take 1 tablespoon of Dawn, I take a whole garlic clove, mix it in a blender, puree it, then I strain it through like a cotton so I get the juice out of it, mix the two together, put it in 1 cup of water, and then spray anywhere that you're seeing the problem with caterpillars in your garden, whether it's ornamental plants or if it's vegetables. I just do a light misting spray, and it usually knocks them out very quickly and also acts as a repellent. Now the next is a termite deterrent, and if you have just a very small problem with termites, this will work. But if you have a massive problem, you're going to need to take a lot more action than this. But you're going to take 10 drops of clove oil, 2 tablespoons of the dish soap, and 1 cup of water. Mix it into a sprayer. If it's just a small area where you've seen termites, this will act as a great deterrent. But remember, if the problem has gotten out of hand, it's going to take a lot more than a small amount. You may have to 10 or 15 or maybe even 20 times this recipe if you're having a lot of termites in some wood. Termites can be a huge problem in people's homes, and they usually like to hide until it's very dark and very quiet when they come out hunting for insects. So you're going to take 2 tablespoons of the Dawn dishwashing detergent and 10 drops of tea tree oil and spray in the areas where they're hiding. 1 quart of water is the mixture rate, and you can double it and triple it depending on how bad the problem is. But in my area, Scorpions are a relatively minor issue, and it's extremely rare. In 25 years of living in my house, I've only seen scorpions about 2 times. Now, the next, if you're having a problem with head lice, you're going to take 2 tablespoons of the Dawn dishwashing detergent, put it in 1 quart of warm water, and lather your hair. Make sure you don't get it in your eyes, because this is not like shampoo. It's a bit stronger than that, and it will help knock it out. But it may take 2 or possibly 3 treatments if you have a bad infestation. Thank God I've never had that problem, but I have heard that it's a pretty common issue these days with children. Now, if you're having a problem with mealybugs on your plants, you're going to take 1 tablespoon of the Dawn dishwashing detergent and 1 tablespoon of neem oil. Depending on whether or not you have a concentrate or not a concentrate, you need to read the directions to make sure that the mix rate. But in the normal, I just take 1 tablespoon and I break it down depending on the concentrate product I use. Spray it on plants where you're having a problem with mealybugs. So if you're having a problem with scale insects on your outdoor plants, use 2 tablespoons of Dawn, 1 tablespoon of horticultural oil, and 1 quart of water, and give it a light misting on any plants that are being attacked by scale. So each year I always have aphids in the garden, whether it's on the roses or the vegetables, wherever it's at. I use this mixture. I use 1 tablespoon of Dawn, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, 1 quart of water, and mix it carefully, and then do a light misting on anything from tomatoes to cucumbers to even roses, and it helps knock out the aphids very quickly. Now, if you're having a problem with whitefly, this is a really simple one. You're just going to take 1 of the Dawn, 1 of the rubbing alcohol, 1 quart of water, mix it well, and then do a light misting with something like this on the area where you're having that particular infestation. Now, I grow squash every year, and squash bugs are a common part of growing squash. So you're going to take 1 tablespoon of the Dawn, 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper, 1 quart of water. You're going to spray it all over the area where you're growing squash, and it will repel the squash bugs almost immediately. Now, if you're having a problem with mosquitoes around a seating area outdoors, a real quick way to knock them down for a temporary amount of time, or at least until the next rainfall, is 1 tablespoon of the Dawn, 1 tablespoon of lemon eucalyptus, and 1 quart of water. Do a light misting around your seating area, even on the seats, and it will repel them by the smell of the lemon eucalyptus and the Dawn as well. Now, if you're having a problem with slugs and snails in the garden, this is a super simple one as well. You're going to do 1 tablespoon of the Dawn, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, mix it well. You may have to have a blender. Mix it in a quart of water, and then spray areas that are prone to slugs and snails. You may have to lift up things like boards, because a lot of times during the daytime they're hiding in those areas, and you can hit them with the slug and snail spray, and it'll knock them out really quickly. Now, the next one is for carpenter bees. You can do a quart of warm water. You're going to do 2 tablespoons of the Dawn, 1 tablespoon of almond oil, mix it well, and spray it on any wooden structures where there's carpenter bees swarming or currently attacking. Now, personally, I like crickets. I like the sound of them, but if you have an infestation of crickets, you're going to take 1 tablespoon of Dawn, 1 tablespoon of neem, 1 quart of water. You're going to spray it in an area where you're having a problem with crickets. If they're heavily infested in that area, and give it a heavy dosing. You may have to upsize it because they can cover a large area. You may have to use a larger sprayer like this one. Now, the next one is for centipedes, and if you're having those inside, you're going to take 1 tablespoon of the Dawn, 1 tablespoon of rubbing alcohol, preferably the strongest one you can get. Mix it with 1 quart of water, and spray down all of your baseboards and anywhere you're seeing centipedes around the interior of your home. Now, whether you're using the Dawn on a person, a plant, or a pet, you want to make sure you do a very small test area, about the size of a quarter, and make sure that you don't have a reaction. Wait a little while and make sure, maybe up to 24 hours, and make sure there's no adverse reaction to it, because some people are very sensitive to it. So you can put it on the back of the neck and just make sure you don't develop a rash. Same on a pet, maybe on the stomach of a dog. Children, I would avoid it unless it's really a bad situation with the lice, as I mentioned earlier. But just remember, test sprays are really a good way to do this, or test applications. So guys, in the description, I put links to everything from the essential oils to the backpack sprayer, battery operated. Everything's down there if you're interested in anything I've talked about today. Also, if you want me to answer a question or you want me to reply to a comment, please become a public subscriber first, because I get so many comments. It's hard for me to answer everybody. I'd be spending 2 or 3 hours a day on comments. So I really appreciate it, and have a great day.